How you going, people? No crazy cop story here. I never know which number it is till I get on there and look. Hey. So I'm not going to tell what agency this is from. But you know what? It's truth. Do I have facts? I was inside, I was working with the agency, and I was talking to other cops, and we were investigating it, and I was looking for the guy. So there is a, hopefully I don't spill the beans and let out where we're searching while I'm explaining this. So we're working, and I mean, I've been working the streets. Think how many cops were killed when I was working. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I've been working 4 or 5 times when a cop was actually killed while I was working. So in this case, this cop was killed. He went out on a traffic stop. Didn't hear from him. They checked on him. I talked about the code 4 before. They went back. For some reason, he typed in code 4 on his computer screen. And when you type in code 4, that means you don't need any further assistance. You're going to be out there just writing a ticket, talking bullshit, whatever. But you've already kind of sized up the guy. There's no threat. So that puts dispatch to where they don't check on you. So if I go out on a call and I go 1195, I just made a traffic stop. 1195, blue Ford, 4 David Robert 276, whatever. I call on a plate. That logs in a time. So now dispatch will come back with a plate, say the plate's cleared, or it's stolen, or there's a want, or whatever. It's clear and current to an 89 Ford, registered to Jose Villa, whatever. So that's what she'll do. Now once she does that, and I make contact and I confirm, if I don't talk to her for a minute or two, her screen will start flashing and it'll say status check, saying we haven't heard from him. Now once I go code 4 and she types in code 4, that screen doesn't flash anymore. It says this guy's good to go. So normally as soon as you size up the guy, get his license, like okay, give me all, give me one all around, that means search all systems, local, etc. And I give them the name and date of birth, and they'll run it and see if it comes back. But as long as we're talking, we're good to go. But if I go over a certain time without going code 4, she'll get an alert. So for some reason, this guy went on a traffic stop. He didn't call in the plate. He said, I'll be out with I think it was a white van with no plate. So with no plate, it's kind of like, he was off in an area kind of way far away. And then he came back with code 4. So it knocked him off the check on this guy's status. So after about 30 minutes to an hour, maybe it was 2 hours, I don't remember, either one of his buddies or somebody went, hey, I haven't heard from so-and-so, check on his status. And so the dispatch went back and shit, he'd been out on his call for an hour and a half, but he went code 4. So they call him, doesn't answer. Call him again, don't answer. If you don't answer really a few times, sometimes they'll do what's called alert tone. So they'll hit this beeper and it goes beep. And normally it'll be a single or double beep, 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 either one. And that usually means priority traffic. So if I'm talking and I'm on the road and I'm doing shit and I'm not listening to my radio, and all of a sudden my radio beeps, I know to stop what I'm doing and listen. Because there's some sort of priority traffic coming over. So it gets your officer's attention. So they send out the alert tone, beep. And they call him again. No answer. Then they put out, all units be on the lookout, we haven't seen blah. He was last seen at this area on a traffic stop with a white van. So, because they can't get him, and that was his last known location, units are heading that way. Well, when they get there, he's dead. Got a bullet to the head and he's on the ground. So it goes out, officer down, homicide. Well, when that happens, officer down, I don't think they said homicidal, but I'm thinking homicide. But anyway, officer down, he's been shot, sent an ambulance. He's probably, I can't remember what dead body is. I think it's 1010, meaning you've checked out or you're out or you're off. So people knew he was dead. Well, now we got a cop that's killed, so anybody in radio shout is heading that way because we want to start shutting it down. Unfortunately, because of the time lapse, we're probably not going to find the guy. I mean, he's either long gone, unless he was shot, unless we see a blood trail or whatever. So units get on scene and they're handling the scene and we're getting information. And we know it's a white van, that's all we know. And I think somehow it came out that one of the windows was broken or knocked out. Oh no, we found glass where the van was at. And the van was gone, but because we found glass, we thought the glass was from the van, so we were looking for a van with a window broken, when in fact, it was just glass on the road. It didn't come from the van. And we never found the van. So when a cop's killed, I mean, I'm not sure what the solve rate is when a cop's killed, but cop homicides and cop murders, they usually don't go to the back burner too often. You work the crap out of them till every lead is exhausted. If you go dead ends, then you rework the entire case, you recontact everybody, you re-review videotapes and statements, and you have either a cold agent come in and re-review it to make sure that we didn't miss something, or we missed a house, or somebody wasn't home and they were supposed to go back and actually that's a witness, and this person wasn't, or maybe somebody moved or they were gone. So, I mean, you just work the crap out of a case if it's a cop killing. So, this case, you know, and I forgot what happened is, I want to say, by the time all this went down, it was midnight. So they set up a command post. And when they set up a command post, they have all agencies that are looking. So our task force, I can't remember what task force I was with. Might have been all of them, I don't know. But our task force went over there, and because we're out looking for a cop killer, we get all blacked up. We got our police uniform, we got our long guns, we got our ARs, you know, remember, long guns are offensive. When you see cops with long guns, they're looking to shoot somebody. When you see them with their pistol out, it's reactive and it's a defensive. A pistol is not an offensive weapon. Our long guns are offensive. So when you see cops carrying the long guns, you got to kind of figure they know they're either going to weapons, they're looking for somebody with a weapon. It's a little bit more serious of crime when cops have long guns. Even though in New York right now, they've got the SWAT team with long guns hanging out at Times Square because of the shit that happened in Paris. And everybody's okay with it. It's funny how the most liberal city with the most gun control that think guns are dangerous and nobody should own them and nobody can get a permit have no problem when you got a government guy out there standing with an automatic weapon in uniform while you're walking around shopping. Nobody has a problem with that. Different topic. So, we all go to the command post, and what happens at the command post is once they get everybody in there, they start a log. We get everybody's names of all the officers, what agencies you're at. Everybody's got to sign in because everybody's working long hours. You're scattering and you're covering massive areas, so they don't want to lose anybody. You've got a bunch of different radios, a bunch of different frequencies. You've got to have somebody in charge to kind of check people in, check people out, where are you going to be. Then you have a lead desk where you have 3 or 4 detectives sitting over here, and all they're doing is taking leads. They're getting new leads, and you have a whole crew of people staged right here. That's all they do is follow up. So when we get a new lead, hey, somebody here, that's your lead. So it's assigned to that person. They go follow that lead, they cut a report, and they come back. And so you have these reports piling up from people doing supplements, and you've got this counter working to where we're sending out people on the leads. We're taking phone calls, we got the press people, we got the people running, and then you have all the different task forces and gun people assigned areas to go search and hunt. And when I say search and hunt, that means anything that looks like a white van gets stopped, taken out at gunpoint and searched. I mean, we had, for 2 or 3 days after that, we had white vans running around with signs. I'm not the cop killer, I've been searched 3 times, don't stop me. And guess what? They were stopped. Because we didn't want the crook putting up one of those signs thinking, hey, you know, if they think this, since they're stopped, I mean, but if you had a white van in that area, you were kind of screwed. Because you were getting stopped continuously. And I mean, I was going home and if a white van passed me the other way, I'd be making a U-turn on the median, calling in and stopping them. And IDing them and checking them. Because we wanted that white van. So, we never found a white van. So after all this happens, still looking for the guy. We're still got white van in the back. I think it's a week or so later. One of the guys tells me, we don't think he was killed. I'm like, what do you mean? How can you not think he was killed, dude? He's dead. Well, we think he killed himself. Now, in the initial investigation, there was blood. His knuckles were dragged on the ground where they were cut. So we thought there was a fight. And his gun was taken, he was shot with his own gun. And I think his gun was a few feet away. So what we initially thought in the briefing was, and that's another thing, when we're in this big briefing and they've got everybody there before they send everybody out to search and destroy. They brief everything about the case so everybody is on the same page. Here's what we got, here's what we know, here's what we found, here's this. Everybody has all the facts. So then as the facts grow and the reports and everybody does their supplements and where we search and what we did, and you know, at the end of this, there's binders and binders of case logs on this cop homicide. So of course, you also have a different team that's assigned to go get the wife and to go sit with the kids and to help them and, you know, to notify people and to start planning a funeral and to start, you know, doing all the other stuff. So, and I think this was after the funeral that I found this out. And again, people are going to, I'm giving out, see, I'm sure cops hate me for giving out all these secrets, but to me they're not secrets. The public ought to know. I mean, I'm just saying things that happen and the public ought to know. So, after the funeral and all this, I'm talking to one buddy, and he's like, dude, we think the guy killed himself. I go, what? I go, man, his web belt had rub marks on it, and his knuckles were in the gum. I says, what the hell, how did y'all get to that conclusion? Because after, you know, first couple of days of working this 24, 48 hours straight, you know, people start dying out, they get tired, they need time off, media goes down, the chance of finding something, it's not, you can't claim hot pursuit. There's a term in law enforcement that if you're in a hot pursuit, you can do things that you can't do if you're not in hot pursuit. Okay, remember the exigency about getting in your house? If a guy's running from me and I'm chasing him and he runs in your house, I don't need a warrant. I can follow him in your house, even though it's not his house, because I'm in hot pursuit. That's an exception, and it's an exigency to the warrant or consent. So, hot pursuit gives you a little bit more ability to do things without a warrant. It gives you that kind of umbrella of protection to do things. Well, as long as he got killed and we're immediately following and working this case, as long as we don't stop, we're considered on a hot pursuit. So it gives us a little bit more authority to trample on the Constitution. Yeah, I know I said it. To trample on the rights of people and to really go out there and shake up the hood in the neighborhood and really start digging in the leads and do things that if we waited a few days, we wouldn't have that exigency, we wouldn't have that hot pursuit exception, and we would have to be getting warrants. It would take longer. We would have to have more information in order maybe to get in the house to justify a warrant. But if we're in hot pursuit at that night because there's still a fleeing gunman out there that just killed a cop, we can do more. So, is that crooked or wrong? You know what, it's playing the system, but it's what happens. So, of course, this is afterwards, and we find out, and I go, how did you guys come to the conclusion that the guy killed himself? Well, it came out that the guy was arrested for shoplifting a couple of days on his day off before he got killed. And if he got fired, his wife, I don't know if his wife had medical conditions or he had a kid or what. If he was killed in the line of duty, if you're a cop killed in the line of duty, your family gets a lot of benefits. Your kids go to college for free. Your wife gets a big payout. You know, I don't know how many thousands of dollars. There's a lot of benefits to the family of an officer that's killed. They're taken care of pretty well with a lot of benefits. However, if you get caught shoplifting and you're fired, you don't get anything. So, I believe the guy killed himself. Talking to one of the officers on the inside that was working the case continuously after I was, said that's pretty much what it is. They never released it to the public, never told the public, never came out and said, hey, you know what? You know, why? Because the system protects the system. We don't want to make cops look bad. We don't want to make the government look bad in the eyes. We don't want to make the government look incompetent. So what do? The government and the system protects the system. They hide, they conceal, they manipulate the news, they manipulate what they release, they don't admit fault, they don't admit their shortcomings, they don't try to improve, and they don't want public scrutiny for their failures because somebody's going to be held accountable. And if there's one thing government doesn't like, being held accountable. So I kind of thought it was BS that they didn't. I said, man, there's a lot of cops out there that busted our ass, that worked all night. I mean, they should know all the poor people that we jacked up ought to get some sort of maybe an apology and saying, hey, we're sorry, we appreciate it. Because, I mean, there was a lot of people we stopped, was like, I understand, I know you guys live in crop, you feel free to search, do what you want. They were very cooperative because they knew a guy got killed and we were out there. And I mean, and again, we weren't out there with our ice cream caps handing out ice cream saying, hey, do you mind if we search? We were out there, guns blazing, really aggressive. We're going to lock this town down into martial law without the military, and we're going to find this guy who shot this cop. So, you know, I'll let you be the judge on whether you think that was, I mean, I don't think there's any call on whether it was wrong or not. You know, there's going to be some people that say, you know what, the guy made a mistake, he killed himself, he was trying to take care of his family and his kids. What good would it have done to publicize that he really killed himself and it wasn't a thing? The other side is, you know what, the public has a right to trust the government. They should be getting the right information. The government shouldn't be behind in line. And when a government makes a mistake, they ought to be able to step up and say, you know what, we blew it. We screwed up, our investigation wrong, but a lot of people would have had egg on their face. I mean, we spent well over $1 million, because anytime you spend over $1 million, the feds reimburse that if you're working a large case. So that's why a lot of DAs and a lot of agencies will milk a case, give a lot of overtime, do a lot of shit that they don't need, because if they can get that $1 million mark, then the feds pay for it, or the state pays for it. I can't remember which one a grant was. But anyway, there's extra money by raising the bill. How's that for government? Your tax dollars. If we spend $1 million, we get free money. So guess what? Everybody gets a credit card, and let's reach that mile mark, people. So, you know, not necessarily a happy story, but it is what it is. You can, you know, I'll take some comments and some questions, and we never found a white van because now we think there never was a white van, which is why we think he went code 4 without putting in the guy's driver's license, etc. He didn't do anything to give us any leads to go to other than the gun on the ground. He was shot in the head, one shot with his own gun, and it appeared to be a scuffle. And by going out with a car, it looks like it was in the line of duty. So, all right, we'll end that there.